talk when I'm walking. Good evening, Your Excellency, High Commissioner, and the Consular Generals, and other high officials of Bangladesh government. Here presents the IT and business expert and other distinguished guests. As I mentioned, I'm Monoranjan Pal. I graduated from BUET in computer science and engineering. My intermediate is 1990, and I'm one of maybe very beginning computer scientists in Bangladesh. And then after finishing my degree, I joined as a lecturer and assistant professor in the Australian University, and then I came in this country, and I got my PhD from Monash University, Melbourne. And then I joined University of New South Wales in Australian Defence Force Academy. Then again I went back to Monash University as an academic. I also went to Singapore, worked at a Nanyang Technological University, and then I come back to Charles Sturt University, and this is the longest university I'm working at. And within 7 years, I got promotion, and now I'm becoming a full professor in Charles Sturt University. I'm also the director of Computer Vision Lab in our university, and I'm also leading a research group called Machine Vision and Digital Health Research Group. I already mentioned these kind of things. And I mentioned that my expertise in AI and machine learning, which the previous speaker mentioned that this is the emerging area. And also I work on video emails, digital health, quantum computing. Hopefully you heard about this. This is the another technological things is coming very soon. Actually, I supervised a number of PhD students. I think last 2 weeks back, my last PhD student completion, and he is my 19th, and he is also from Bangladesh. And among these 19 PhD students, I think more than 10 from Bangladesh. I try to help, when I have the opportunity, I try to bring Bangladeshi students and train them as a researcher, and some maybe go back and some maybe not, and they are in different countries. And also the one successful student now is a professor as well, like me. And according to the ResearchGate, I'm the top 4% researcher in the world. Maybe I just mentioned few things about me. I think again the previous speaker mentioned about mobile app development. Actually, in Australia, we give a lot of value to translate your knowledge to commercialization. And actually, we developed a mobile app which is commercialized. Now it is commercially available. Actually, I lead that project. It is funded by Wine Australia and also New South Wales DPI, our university, all those things. And what that mobile app does, it actually, we can take a picture of graphs, leaves, and then it can tell what kind of disease it has, and also what is the, lack of nutrition. Say, for example, nitrogen, magnesium, boron, this kind of, if there is some lack of those kind of nutrition, then the graphs leaves has different kind of shape and also color and texture. So our app, unfortunately, you cannot use it. It is not available in the public domain. You have to buy. And all the researchers and other people get the loyalty of that. So, and also I developed a number of mobile apps. So my lab has that kind of facilities. And also I have a number of media coverage. Especially I work on COVID detection. That is the first technology we developed where we can transfer the knowledge from the existing domain group for COVID detection in the lung. And why I'm saying this, because that time, that COVID time, there is no enough patient So that's why we need to transfer the existing knowledge to detect the COVID, and also it reduce the number of hospital admission. So that kind of things we can do. And also in 2019, Sydney Morning Herald, maybe you know that SMS, the newspaper, the one of iodine newspaper in Australia, they asked me, they interviewed me and asked me what is the next skill we need in Australia. That time I told that it should be artificial intelligence, and we should invest in Australia so that we can develop this kind of skill. And now you see everywhere people are using AI. And also in Financial Review in 2018, they also mentioned that what is the next threat. I mentioned that it should be cybersecurity, because you know the images and video normally used as a trap for say maybe install some software in your computer when you are not aware about this or enough protection. So you see that cybersecurity is there. And I did a lot of research in, and also the application is wider, and that's why in 2017, our Australian Computer Society, maybe you can think that the equivalent of Bangladesh Computer Society in Australia, I got that ICT Researcher of the Year because of my say application and also the multidisciplinary research contribution. And among them, I think around 50 different professors were nominated, and luckily I was the ICT Researcher of the Year. So that is the most maybe prestigious recognition for me. And I also invited by the federal government as well as the state government for their different policy. For example, I was invited in Canberra in 2019, that time our federal minister, about the AI policy, that means artificial intelligence policy, what should be our policy, that kind of dialogue. And I also invited another organization, KPMG, maybe you heard about this, where that they talk about AI impact dialogue. And he's our chief data scientist in New South Wales state government. Sorry, maybe I'm talking about a lot about me, but what I try to say that as a Bangladeshi product, I have some contribution in here. And maybe we can translate this kind of contribution to our beloved country. So that's why I like to tell this kind of say expertise, and maybe you'll be proud that in every sector, the Bangladeshi people are contributing a lot in here. So if you give us some opportunity so that we can translate this kind of, or maybe transform this kind of expertise to our country so that the other people can be benefited from there. And I got a few slides from searching as well as the government website, and maybe this information is publicly available. You can also have this information easily accessible. But I really like to say a few things that the IT sector in Australia, it is tremendous accelerating. Last few years, look at the from 2016 to 2021, it is more than 80%. So that means Australia is investing a lot in IT sector. The next slide, yeah. And if you look at, I think you already know that Australia is the number 12 largest economy in the world, and compared to Bangladesh, it is 35th largest economy. But I think the beauty of Bangladesh is the working people, the number of working people. If you look at the demography, I think our young people has tremendous potential to improve our economy. And if you look at the Australia, maybe the demographic is towards like older people. So that means we need to spend a good manpower to take care of our older people. But in Bangladesh, it is different. So maybe we can, if we give the enough opportunity to the Bangladeshi younger, that generation and that age group, and they can develop, they can be a good manpower who can contribute our developing our say economy. And if you look at the Australian government digital investment, there's a number of sectors, but I really like to take your attention on two sectors. One is the cyber security. We are spending around 9.9 billion, and also the quantum, and it is I think around just 6 billion. We are now investigating. I'm not 100% sure. You know about the quantum computing or that kind of things? Who already know? So that means a majority maybe not aware about the quantum computing. I just briefly like to say what it is. You know the computer system is working in the binary state, 0 or 1. That means if voltage is going, it is maybe 1. If not there, it is 0. But the quantum computing is working like the fuzzy things. That means it is not 0 or 1. Maybe I can give an analogy. Say for example, you have a toast, right? Head and tail, and you put there, and when it is spinning, you cannot say whether it is head or tail. That means you need some other information to tell that whether it is a head or tail. That information is the time. That information is the state. So that means the quantum computing has, say, 4 different states. And that, maybe I don't like to explain all the technology, but I like to say that the significance of that is a huge, small device. Say for example, we know that to store some information in the binary system, it takes a huge amount of information and huge amount of hardware. But if you convert it into quantum computing on the same types of hardware, you can maybe store a huge amount of information, and also in the processing power. Say for example, currently whatever the password system, whatever the encryption system we are using, if we can use the quantum computing, maybe those things we can solve it within maybe a few minutes. So that's why the quantum computing has the tremendous power for storing as well as the processing. And maybe you heard that University of New South Wales already developed a quantum computing lab. They like to do research. In our university, a number of PhD students are working on that. And IBM heavily invest on that. Google heavily invest on quantum computing. So that means, what I'd like to tell you here, that maybe this is the right time to train our Bangladeshi people on that space so that within, say, 5-10 years of when it is mature, they can contribute. Okay, so that's why I bring this one thing. And obviously, cybersecurity, you already know that. We are every day, maybe some system are attacked. You know, our BSF does, Medibank Private, all are attacked by those things. And also, I like to mention another thing is, when the quantum computing will be available, a lot of current security system will be, say, destroyed within a few minutes. So that's why we need to think about now what is the quantum computing and how we can protect our system against the computational power of quantum computing. So we need to think about now so that we can protect them. Otherwise, it will be very dangerous situation. Because always there is some bad people. When we develop some kind of technology, some bad people use that technology for other purpose. We are not always the good people, right? So we need to be aware about this. I just like to say that what kind of outsourcing service available in Australia. Normally, what they do. Obviously, the technical support, and then software development, infrastructure management, cyber security, and cloud services. And workers needs in Australia is cyber security around 1.2 million by 2030, and the total budget or revenue can be 10 billion. And quantum technology is people needs around 20k by 2045, and 6 billion by say 2045. And obviously the AI, including the machine learning, computer vision, natural language processing, we need around 160k new specialists by 2030. Maybe the surprising thing is, as we need that kind of people, the Australia actually use around 56% expertise from overseas. That means in Australia we do not have that much expertise in AI field. And also in cyber security, we are outsourcing around 40% of that expert people. So maybe Bangladesh think about these two sectors, because this is a huge opportunity where they can contribute. Because I know that in Bangladesh there is a lot of public and private universities where our young generation are very good in computer programming, very good in mathematics, so they can easily pick this kind of things if they do if they are properly trained for this kind of things. Okay, so I think we can think about that direction. And why it is? Because Australian technology workforce need around 1.2 million by 2027, but we only produce in domestic environment, we only produce 7,000 students in IT sector. Now you look at what the lagging of that. So maybe Bangladesh can think about that, whether we can develop the skill on that sector and then use some kinds of outsourcing from Australia to fill this kind of opportunity.
PowerPoint slide to দেখা যাচ্ছে না. Can you please share the PowerPoint slide?
Yeah. So that's all from me. I'm happy to answer any question. And maybe another thing I really like to make sure, as you know, that as a professor, I'm doing a lot of research, and also there's a good collaborative opportunity in terms of research. Recently, I talked with our Pro Vice Chancellor, and actually I invite him to come here, but due to his other commitment, he cannot. But he mentioned that he already talked with the High Commission. And we developed a number of collaboration there. And recently, I know that one thing is ICT and our university has a collaboration where we can provide the supervision for the research, and the student will come here and our supervisor will go there. This kind of collaboration also possible. And you can also think about that some kinds of research project we can develop by collaboratively. These kind of things can be happen. And you know that in Australia, we have a lot of Bangladeshi who are very good position in terms of research. At least I know. So they can help, and they can develop some kinds of collaborative things so that mutually we can be benefited, Australia as well as the Bangladeshi people. So that's all from me. I'm happy to answer if it is within my domain, and I know the answer. Thank you.